Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Go ahead before we get started because this is going to be a long one. Go ahead and press that like button. And thank you guys for helping me hit 33,000 subscribers. I felt like it was just a little over a week ago that I was at 32. I had just hit 32. So thank you for your support on this channel. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this City Girl stuff because I think it's going to be a long one. Forgive me. But I do think that I want to just kind of lay it out so that you'll understand where I'm coming from, right? And why I'm doing this video. So as you know, this is a City Girls. It's not my type of music, right? It's not for me, but that's no offense to them. It's just not for me. All right. Caresha is one half of the City Girls. And one of the things, now I don't care for JT very much, but one of the things that I admire and have always admired since listening to Caresha, I think on an interview, I think she was on the Breakfast Club a couple of years back, is how she has been, how she's managed to hold it down for so many people and be so supportive of so many people. And if you understand her life story, and as I said, I'm going to kind of get into this, you'll kind of understand her a little bit more, right? So when JT had to go sit her scamming ass down, right, because she had to go sit down in prison, federal prison, because she was out here scamming and cracking cards, okay? Caresha held it down. She held the group down. A lot of people felt like the City Girls was going to be, they were just really starting to take off, and JT had to go sit her ass down. Caresha got out there pregnant and all, and was still out there touring, and just trying to keep the group afloat. And she did that. She absolutely did that. Pregnant and all. Okay. Caresha has endured a lot just by, like I said, listening to her life story is a lot there, right? Having a mother who has been in and out of the system pretty much her whole life, right? Having to take on the role of raising her siblings because her mama was in and out of the system. She had her own child. And I think it's been over the last year or so, her son's father was killed. So this girl has been through a lot, and through it all, she has still, like I said, managed to take care of her siblings, to take care of the group, and just to maintain. So I give it up to her. Now, Caresha has always been very, very open about her mother being in and out of the system and being incarcerated, right? So most recently, Caresha had been talking about the fact that her mother was going to get out of jail. And if you've ever, I ain't never had no incarcerated parent, but I had an incarcerated brother. And, you know, at the end of the day, right or wrong, you want your family home. That's called an unconditional love. So when Caresha tweeted this the other day, I was excited for her. She's like, my mom get out tomorrow. I'm so anxious. Right. And like I said, because I have heard her talk about her mother being in and out of the system, I can understand why this young lady would be happy about this. OK, she says, my mom left me with 2 kids plus Jai. I was 22 going on 23. I didn't know what to do. I had to figure it out. Look at me now. God is so good. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a clip of her mother being released from jail. Like I said, this is just literally a couple of days ago. Go ahead and take a look at this clip, guys.
Yes, sister! Okay, come, sister! Yes! Right, sister!
So, again, this girl has had her mother in and out of the system. I saw the video with Caresha's little girl, Summer, just hugging on to her grandma so tight. And it kind of, it made me feel a little emotional because I'm just thinking to myself, she just wanted her mother home. She just wanted her mother home. Her mother looked young. Her mother is like maybe like a couple of years younger than me and I'm going to get into this. Okay. So on the surface, it looked like, wow, this is wonderful. Her mother's home. So when her mama got home, she threw her mama a welcome home party. She bought her mother a new car. And I remember months ago, she was talking about she was going to buy her mother a car, right? So she's happy. She's able to go ahead and just, because she's in a position where she can take care of her mother, she want to make sure her mama's straight, right? So like I said, she got her mama a car. Mama came home to a welcome home party. all these different people were in attendance. You had Trick Daddy in attendance. I saw Trina there. Everybody was just, like I said, just, giving her all kinds of fancy gifts. Chanel, Louis. It was just all this fancy stuff. So like I said, on the surface, I didn't know. I was just like, this is just a girl who's celebrating at her mother's home. What's the harm in that? So I started going in the comments because that's what I do. I was on the shade room, messy ass. They're so toxic over there, but I still be over up in there, so I can't say nothing. I was over in the shade room and I started seeing people with comments about like, people shouldn't be celebrating this. Why are they sitting here celebrating this woman's mother for being home? She killed somebody. And I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? And I just kept seeing like y'all sitting here celebrating this woman, but this woman killed somebody. You see, she's showing off her money. She's showing off all the fancy stuff that she got. And like I said, I was just like, I don't understand. So I didn't know her mother's name at that point, but I started to kind of look into it. Somebody posted the mother's name and I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and look up her name and why people keep saying that she should have her ass still in the jail. Like she shouldn't be home. I wanted to go ahead and explore that a little bit more. Like, why are people, dogging this woman and saying that she shouldn't be home? This, Caresha's so happy. These are her daughters. They all look like they could just be sisters. Mama holding up a middle finger. Good Lord. That woman, like I said, this woman is about almost my age and she's still holding up a middle finger. I ain't never liked that kind of stuff, but that, let me not get off on a tangent here. Let's just stick to what I wanted to talk about. So again, Caresha's happy that her mother's home. She's happy that her mother can now be a grandmother to her children. What's the harm in that? What's wrong with that? Like I said, when I started seeing all these comments in the shade room saying, no, this woman did something pretty bad. I don't know why y'all sitting here celebrating her being home. She is a criminal. She needs to take her ass back to the jail. So what do? I go ahead and Google her mother's name. I Google her mother's name. And let me just say this. After Googling and finding out what her mother did, my feelings are definitely mixed on this. My feelings are absolutely mixed on this. And I can absolutely see why people think that this woman should not have her ass out. Now, as I told you before, Caresha has always stated that her mother has been in and out of the system, and she had to take on the role of being a mother to her siblings probably before she was even old enough to do that, right? She wasn't prepared to do that kind of shit, but her mama was in and out of jail. So to see this woman come out, and like I said, she's, just all these gifts, put on her and got her hair done, got her nails done, looking snatched already. A lot of people feel a type of way about that, right? So I want to go ahead and pull up some stuff that I got off of Whispers with Bella. I want to give credit to Whispers with Bella for pulling the receipts on Kenya Young. And this is what happens when a lot of these celebrities won't just quietly and humbly do things, right? They got to show off. People are going to inquire about it. So the question is, why did she go to jail? Now, this is her mother. Look at all the mother's aliases. She even used her own daughter's name, Caresha Brownlee. Lord, she used Kenya Moore. Her mother's name is Kenya Young. And look at all the different names that she used. Her own daughter. She used her own daughter's name. Okay. And Kenya Moore Hair Care. Okay. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. So when we start really getting into and diving into her record, you'd be like, well, goddamn. This woman been in and out of the system for a long time. She's been trifling for a minute. All right. Now, let me go ahead and get into some of the charges that she has had over the years and why she was incarcerated. So these are just some of her charges. Grand theft back in 2004, assault with a firearm, fleeing, child abuse. Now, people say the child abuse actually was because she had beat up a child because I guess her kid got into it, right, over something. So that was that. I don't know. I don't know. But these are her These are some of her charges. Now, I'm going to show you some of the sentences that she got. So as you can see, when Caresha said that she's been kind of like stepping in, taking care of her siblings for a while, she's not lying. Look at all of this. This is what her mama was in and out of the system for a long ass time. But these are not the charges that did it. It was this final charge that made her ass sit down, which is why a lot of people is like, I don't know why y'all sitting here celebrating. This is the charge that put her mama away for a while. And a lot of people feel like not long enough. Robbery with a deadly weapon. Okay. She was sentenced in 2017, but it happened in 2009. And I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you guys and you'll understand why. So it says stolen purses from Macy's, a police car chasing a dead grandmother. Who is to blame? I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you guys. Okay. It's a little lengthy, so bear with me. Okay. Go ahead and bear with me. It says, there's no question that Xavier Robinson and Kenya Young drove to the Aventura Mall, stole Michael Kors and Juicy Couture purses from Macy's, and led police on a dramatic chase that ended with a motorist dead from a high-speed collision. It's up to jurors to sift through the details and decide who is really to blame. Heard from Robinson's defense on Thursday, he was a simple shoplifter acting on his own, and it was Young who took the wheel of his borrowed Chrysler 300, driving like a madwoman before plowing into a car driving through a North Miami Beach intersection. Killed was 40-year-old security guard Emily Anderson, who was driving home from another exhausting shift to support her 2 grandchildren. Okay, let me go ahead and continue. The tragedy happened on August 3rd, 2009. Prosecutors said Robinson and Young were on the robbery together, parking their car in a fire lane for a quick getaway from Macy's. He stole a Michael Kors bag while Young took 2 Juicy Couture purses. As they ran off, a security officer tussled with Young as Robinson hopped in the driver's seat and gunned it toward the 2. Mrs. Young was thrown off the hood of the car. Mr. Robinson drove off while Miss Young was still on the hood of the car. Miss Young, I'm sorry. Young managed to get back into the car and the 2 sped off, going the wrong way down a one-way street and hitting speeds upward of 90 miles an hour as Aventura police gave chase. He said that Chrysler soon collided with Anderson's vehicle. She worked with Bryan Security and had a second job supervising the front desk at the Nordica condominium in Miami's Road section. Before she was killed, Anderson had already suffered a violent tragedy. Her 19-year-old son, Michael Johnson, was shot and killed in what investigators believe was a case of mistaken identity. His killer was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. The day of her death, Anderson was driving home along with her co-worker and cousin, Charles Edward Hall of North Miami. He survived but remained in a coma for months. In the moments after the crash, Young emerged from the car and promptly vanished. She was arrested days later. Robinson was found behind the wheel of the Chrysler, his right leg broken. Prosecutors say he drove, but his defense lawyers swear he was a passenger and had been trying to get out of the damaged Chrysler through the driver's side. Okay, so this is a whole mess. This is a whole mess. And let me go ahead and continue. The way Kenya drove was reckless, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Dawson told jurors during opening statements of Robinson's trial for murder. The way Kenya drove was dangerous. Prosecutors, however, say Robinson masterminded the robbery, wielded his car like a weapon, nearly running over a Macy's security officer before driving off. At the intersection of Northeast 179th Street and 15th Avenue, he sped through at 66 miles an hour, more than double the legal limit. Not braking at a stop sign, T-boning the car driven by Emily Anderson, Miami-Dade prosecutor Justin Funk told the jury. Robinson, 36, is charged with first-degree felony murder, armed robbery, vehicular homicide, and reckless driving resulting in serious bodily injury. He faces up to life in prison if convicted. He and Young were charged with first-degree murder in Anderson's death. They were also charged with armed robbery for the mall ripoff based on classifying the car driven toward the Macy's working as a weapon. In Florida, anyone who commits certain violent crimes, including armed robbery in which someone dies, can be held responsible for murder. Young, 39, pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 5 years in prison plus 10 years of probation. She will serve as a star witness against Robinson. His defense attorney, Dawson, called Young a liar who got a sweetheart deal. As a result of Kenya Young's lies, this entire criminal justice system has been cheated, Dawson said. Mr. Robinson has been cheated. The trial continues Friday before Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Charles Johnson. So I have read to you what Caresha's mom has done. And I ask you, if you saw this woman come home after your grandmother was killed, and you see her partying it up and holding up her middle finger, and her daughter just bestowing upon her all these gifts, including a car, you just saw what happened here. How would you feel if it was your grandmother who had died? It was your mama who had died as a result of this woman boosting. And in the result of that was some innocent woman who was just coming home from work getting killed. How would you feel about it? And that's what I wanted to present to you guys. After I read that, my feelings changed about this, because again, at first I'm like, well, of course Caresha is happy that her mother's at home. I feel like anybody in her position would feel what she felt when she has her mother back. But somebody don't have their grandmother as a result of what this woman and her boyfriend did. Now, there are conflicting reports about, I see a lot of people in the comments. Like I said, I was on the Shade Room saying, well, she wasn't driving. She wasn't the driver. But she still did something that resulted in an innocent woman losing her life. So I don't know. I don't know. But something just feels nasty about all of this. It just feels nasty about it. And I don't blame Caresha for it, though. Like I said, that's her mother. She is celebrating her mother being home. But this is why these celebrities get on these internet streets. They want to show off everything. And then when people start prying, now it's like, mind your business. Well, all of this stuff is public knowledge. This is public record, all of it. So when you see her mother coming home, she gets to have a second chance at life. Just imagine how that other family must feel watching this woman, post all this cash, all these celebrities like, oh, welcome home, Kenya. Welcome home, Kenya. It's a slap in the face. I would feel like it's a slap in the face if it was my family member that she killed, because let's be clear. If this was a story that didn't involve a celebrity's mother, people will be saying, lock her ass back up. She needs to go and bake for another 20 years for what she did. Because again, there was this whole dispute about who was driving the car. And the story is so goddamn crazy. The woman, Kenya, was on the hood of the car. Dude was driving, and somehow she got in. So I believe that the jury did not buy his story that she was driving, which is why I believe she got 5 years. And also she testified against them. So they gave her a better deal, right? I mean, in some circles, people would call her a snitch, right? Nonetheless, I believe that the jury was probably not necessarily buying that he wasn't the driver. He was saying that, yeah, his leg was stuck, right? His leg was broken, and he was just trying to get out of that side of the car. She ran off. Let me remind you, when she T-boned, or whoever, when they T-boned this woman, which resulted in this woman's death and put another person in a coma, Kenya fled. She ran. And you see people celebrating her coming home, and it do make me feel a type of way. It's just like, I don't know if I would even, I just would have just been like, welcome home, mama, and called it a day. Now, somebody was going to pry into it anyway, right? But I think the knife in the heart is the fact that people see all these people, like, just showering her with all this celebratory, like, gifts and a car. Like, she should be the last person behind the wheel, right? But people see all this lavishness. But why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't she? Her daughter is Caresha of the City Girls. Her daughter is happy that her mother's home. So like I said, I want to see it from both sides. It don't sit well with me, but I also understand from her daughter's point of view that she's happy that her mother is home. And she got the means to do and take care of her mother. Why wouldn't she do that? And let's be clear. If somebody want to be mad at somebody, be mad at Florida for giving her just 5 years. She did her time. So at the end of the day, you know, she did the time that they gave her. What else is she supposed to do? That's just what I'm saying. So I'm trying to look at it from both sides. It don't sit well with my spirit seeing her, you know, partying and living it up and holding up a middle finger. And all the while there's a family over there grieving because they probably feel like justice wasn't served. And I also read something that the grieving family of the victim, I think they tried to sue Macy's, but Macy's was found that they're not liable for any of that. And then you have Kenya, you know, wanting to put all this money that people just probably thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars on Instagram, because you know how celebrities love to do. They love to show off and flex. And so guess who? She might get her ass sued. I mean, they can't come after Caresha, right? Because Kenya is ultimately the one that was responsible that resulted in this woman's tragic death. But that's why celebrities just need not to put everything out there for the world. Some things should just be humbly done and kept quiet. And this is one of those times where I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel a type of way about people. Like I said, I saw these celebrities like Monica, all these different celebrities. Welcome home, Kenya. It's just like, but if it was your mother, if it was your grandmother that was killed, this woman was just going home, working more than one job, trying to take care of her family. And these people wanted to go steal, right? And now you see them, what are they showering her mother with? Chanel, right? All Chanel, Louis, Gucci. I mean, I was looking at her story. Like, she got all this fancy shit because she wanted to go out and boost, and it resulted in somebody's death. And now she gets to go and live her life. And hopefully she will be, you know, a better mother than she ever been to Caresha. Because again, this woman been in and out of the system. This woman been in and out of jail for a lot of her children's lives. So if you ever think to yourself, Caresha ignorant, Caresha this, Caresha that, listen, Caresha's the apple and here is the tree. And if you don't even understand why people are the way they are, just look at the tree. Look at the tree. Her mother really wasn't much of a mama. And maybe, just maybe, now that she got a second chance, she'll be a better grandmother. Because the other woman, she couldn't be a grandmother because she's not here. She's not here. So I've tried to lay this out as best I can to you guys. Okay. Like I said, this is the money that she was showing. You know, you got to be careful about flexing. This will come back to bite her in the ass. Because I'm sure that that family that's now seeing this woman out, I'm sure they feel some type of way, because I know the hell I would feel some type of way about it. But, you know, hopefully that Kenya has learned her lesson. She could be a better mother now to her girls, her children. She could be a good grandmother. She has a fresh start. Hopefully she will be on the straight and narrow, right? But I can absolutely understand why people feel the way they feel and why people were sitting here like, why y'all sitting here celebrating this? Because you know damn well, if this was not Caresha's mama and this was just some random story that you read in the newspaper, you would think that this woman should go sit her ass down just a little longer. And I agree. I agree with that. But like I said, at the same time, what Caresha is doing here, it ain't criminal. It ain't wrong to love up on your family and show them unconditional love. It's an unfortunate situation, but Caresha having the means to take care of her mother and to do for her mother, what do you expect her to do? Right? And like I said, Florida gave this woman 5 years and 10 years probation. She did the time that they gave her. That's all I can say about that. But I would definitely like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this? Like I said, I tried to lay it out as best I could so that you can understand the story behind it. So like I said, when people were sitting here celebrating oh, her mother's home. She's been talking about her mama for so long. Her mother's home. Like I said, I was happy for the girl. And so I was like, and then I read about it. I'm like, well, damn. Ooh, her mama did all of that. Her mama did that. That's why her mama was in jail. Oh, shit. Okay, well, maybe she should have stayed in her ass in jail a little longer, you know. And then, I don't know. It's just kind of, it's very nuanced. But like I said, if it was your family member, you would probably feel some way too. But let me know what you guys think about this whole story. Leave your comments down below. Again, thank you guys for 33,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe if you haven't. And like I said, thank you again. I'll see you guys on the next video, guys. Thanks again. See y'all. Bye.